Hey, what's going on, guys? Lightbringer Cosplay here today, showing you my own custom Fallout 4 bolt-action pipe rifle. With this weapon completed, I figured I would pick it up and explore the ruins of downtown Boston. I'm actually, I think, near an industrial shipyard, which would explain all this machinery. But so far, I'm finding a lot of pretty cool stuff. There were a bunch of raiders, I think one in that guard tower too, but I threw a grenade up there, and so far nobody's attacked me in the past 10 minutes, so I think it's safe to set this weapon down, and then we can discuss how it was built. So let's just set it on this old Navy truck right here, and we will get right to it. Alright, now that I've checked the area and everything is safe, we can go over the design of the weapon and how I built it. So it originally started out with a receiver made entirely out of plexiglass, and by receiver I'm referring to the little tannish piece in the center of the 2x4 towards the pistol grip and trigger. That was made entirely out of plexiglass that I kind of made a puzzle piece, almost like a 3D design, and I glued all the panels together, hollowed out the insides, which was actually not that difficult. Then I ran a piece of Schedule 40 PVC pipe from the stock out to the tip of the barrel. That's all one solid piece, which gives it a nice rigid feel because there's no separated parts. It's all just, one clean piece. Pistol grip is another piece of PVC pipe. The stock is a piece of plexiglass that I heated and bent to the correct angle. For the fore end, I used an old 2x4 that's been sitting in my yard for a few years. It started to get rain damaged and all dirty, and that just made it look pretty dang nice for a pipe rifle project. So I cut it to shape, threw it on there, did a little bit of woodworking to make it fit nicely. The front and rear sights are just the standard iron sights from the basic vanilla bolt-action pipe rifle. The bolt retainer, I don't know if I could call that a lockup system or what, that barb metal on the side is what I'm referring to, is made out of a piece of thin gauge steel. I think it's 16 gauge. Then that's held on with 2 screws and the tie wire wrapped around the muzzle. So I figure we'll get a little closer and I'll flip it around and you can see that side. Alright, so the other side is basically the same thing with the receiver and stock. The only difference being the stock actually wraps around this side of a barrel. And I didn't know that originally when I designed this gun because I built it before Fallout 4 was even released. And I didn't know that the wood wrapped around the top of the barrel on the right side, so I had to go and add that later after I saw in-game shots. But that was a pretty easy fix. I just used some paint stir sticks and glued it all together and kind of weathered it. Then I put a strip of steel on the other side like in the game. And that's really about the basics of how I did this gun. It was a simple project. It was a very fun project. And I think it turned out pretty good. This is definitely one of the better pipe rifles I've seen posted on the internet so far. Not to say that mine's the best, but for the vanilla stock version, I'm very proud of how this turned out. You can see a little bit of the rust details. That actually is a textured trick that I learned. It's a bunch of different dark colors of paint with cinnamon actually mixed into the paint to give it kind of a rough, gritty texture. And on camera and in person, it looks very convincing. You can see the rear sight, just a piece of steel that I bent upward and cut a notch in, and it's just held on by 2 screws. Same thing with the front sight, it's just a bent piece of steel with 2 screws. I'll flip it over so you can get a little bit closer details on the side with all the operating parts. This is just a bolt that is threaded into the pipe. This pipe runs all the way through the gun, so it's very sturdy. This is a carriage bolt, I think, real cheap at Home Depot. I just cut this notch, stuck it in this side, and I actually drilled through the other side so I could thread it into the PVC pipe, but that hole is covered by the wood stock. So as a result, it, as I said, is very sturdy. And the tie wire is just basic steel wire. And I cut this roughly on the bandsaw. I could have cleaned it up, but I like the jagged look. And the trigger is just a screw. So all in all, I am very, very pleased with how this weapon came out. I didn't like it at first, but it started to grow on me because, you know, I built it, and I'm just proud of what I built, basically. The same thing, though, can't be said about Fallout 4. I was a little bit disappointed with the game, to be honest, but that's not really content for this video. It's just focus on the prop that I made. So maybe sometime I'll make a video explaining that. But otherwise, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.